Hi guys, welcome to this video session. In this session, we will be discussing about class and object in Java. What does a class and an object mean? So this topic class and object might seem a bit easy, but it is very important to have a clear idea about this because everything in OOP, object-oriented programming, revolves around the word object, right? So what is an object? Object is a real world entity. Object is a real world entity. We will be seeing about this now. So object is a real world entity. Object has specific properties and can perform tasks. See, let us take an example of a human being. Human being has specific properties, right? Like he or she has a name, color, height, everything. Like those are the properties. And human beings can also walk, run, talk, eat, read, write. Everything are the tasks which are performed by the human being. So every object has its own properties and perform the tasks which are done by them. Object is also defined as an instance of a class. What is a class? We will be seeing a bit later in this video. Instance of a class and is a basic unit of object-oriented programming. Object consists of state, behavior, and identity. Every object has its own state, its own behavior, and its own identity. Everything in this real world which we can see, touch, or feel is an object. Object consists of properties and performs specified tasks. When an object of a class is created, the class is said to be instantiated. What do you mean by instantiated? Instantiated in the sense represented. The object represents a class. There are n number of objects. Each object is derived from the class. A class can have any number of instances. That is what a class can have, any number of objects. Next, object can be created by using new keyword. See, object can be created with 3 or 4 other different ways also, but by using new keyword is the most popular way. Example, see, we have class. This is how we generally create an object, right? Here the class name. Here we have class name. This class name is the name of the class. It might be like student and all. We will be seeing in later example. And then the object name. Object name is for object reference. S1, student S1, like object name is for reference. And new is called for allocating the memory. And then class name. This is the syntax for creating an object. The new operator instantiates a class by allocating memory for a new object and returning a reference to that memory. It also invokes the class constructor. I think you might have heard about this word constructor, right? What is constructor? Constructor is a block of code which is similar to method. Methods in Java, we have method set, which is a block of code. Constructor is similar to a method. It is called when instance of a class is created. When an object is created, then the constructor itself is created. When an object is called. Every time when an object is created using new, see, we have new keyword right here. Whenever the object is created using new, at least one constructor is called. Okay, if we do not specify this constructor, then Java compiler itself automatically provides a non-argument constructor. It is a default constructor. We can initialize objects in Java in three ways: using constructors, using methods, and using reference variables. We will be seeing in later session. So we have seen about object, right? Object is a real world entity. There are n number, we have discussed there are n number of objects in a class. So what is a class? Class represents a set of properties or methods that are common to all the objects. Okay, that are common to all the objects. See, in this example, we have student, right? Student is known as the class name here. Student, and then we have S1. We have declared S1, one student. Here we can declare many. S1 is the object here. So like we have n number of students, right? N number of students are objects and the student is class. So methods that are common to all the objects, like every student has its follows its own blueprint, which is specified by the class C. Class is not a real world entity. It just references the real world entity, which is known as object. Class is the blueprint from which objects are created. With the help of this class blueprint, we create objects. Class is a set of objects which share common characteristics or behavior and common properties or attributes. Class can either be predefined or user defined. See, there are predefined classes, like we have string class, right? String. And then we have scanner. These are all the predefined classes. And then we have user defined. We can create any user defined class like student, chair, company, institute, everything is a user defined class. Class does not occupy any space in the memory. It doesn't occupy any memory. It is just a blueprint, right? Which the objects which are created with this blueprint occupies the memory. Okay, then class declaration can include, in class we might have a class modifier. You know, class modifiers public, private, and protected, default, right? These class modifiers specifies how the other classes can access the methods or objects in one class. Class keyword, the name of the class. For this name of the class also, we have some naming conventions, like first letter should be capital and all, and then we have super class, and then we have constructor, methods, interfaces, body. Like all these things are present in compounds. So let us see an now let us discuss this example. See, in this we have class student. See, class student, which means now the class name is student, which are having some properties like int id and string name. That means each and every student, a class might have n number of objects, right? So each and every object, each and every student is having an id, is having an, and then what are properties you need, you can add it here. So each and every student of a class has all the properties. These public static voidment, these everything has its own meaning. We will be discussing it in access modifiers and all. Now, when we are here, we are declaring, like initiating an object, right? So when we are creating an object, we are writing this class name first. Student is the class name here, so that we are writing it here. S1, we are referencing the object using S1, and new is used for allocating memory to this specific object. And then we have student, everything. Again, we have class name. So let S1 be the student. object. See object, one object, then s1 dot id. One object is declared with these variables. Then it has name is declared, and then we are calling this for printing, like for the output thing, right? This is for the output thing. So the class student can have n number of objects. How many how many objects we need, that depends upon the requirement. Every object follows the blueprint which is specified by the class, that is id and name. That is how we use class and object. Class is just the blueprint, which it doesn't have any memory. It is just stating the properties, like every student should have a name, every student should have an id. It is just stating the properties. So it is just the blueprint and it doesn't occupy any memory. Any memory. Then we have object, which is a real world entity. Everything after we have created new, then memory is allocated. A constructor is also called. So this is how class and object works. Every real world entity is known as object. Group of object makes a class. A class defines the blueprint about how an object should define itself, or how an object should be defined. Hope this is clear. Thanks for watching this video. Please do like, share and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.